Afternoon, right? Afternoon. Okay. Chris, Essential Motion Spinal Support, as well as EHS Physical Therapy Chiropractic Services. We wanted to talk to you. Jeff and I were talking about everybody that's working at home, right? Home-based offices now. Not everybody's back to work yet. They still have seated or office-style jobs in front of the computer.
That might not be ideal.
Yeah, if you have a herniated disc, you have some kind of problem in the neck or the back, not all, but not universal, but for most people, sitting is problematic. Sitting makes your pain worse. Sitting will bring pain like down into a leg or into an arm. You generally feel better if you can get up, move around, change positions. So we'll give you some tips on how to reduce this, okay? Because I know you have to work, you got to get stuff done, but you've got to have a plan or some tips that you can do at home.
We got 3 different kind of setups that we've kind of talked about that would be most ideal for, you can do it in your office, but especially at home, if you have an at-home office, 3 different things that you can maybe toggle between, because it's all about, staying in one position for an extended period of time is usually what is the kicker for, initiating or bringing on pain. So changing position often, but not being fidgety with it, I guess. So having intention movement can help you hopefully decrease some either pain in the back or pain, creating that limbs that you got.
Yeah, and that would definitely be a worsening of symptoms if it goes down the leg, and we know you have to get up and move around.
So first, most people probably sit, they have an office chair or regular chair. So,
yeah, I wanted this to show, so I'll just take a rolled up towel. We need something to give us a bit of a tactile, something to put pressure on the low back to get us to kind of sit a little bit taller. It's comfortable at first to sit kind of slouchy because it opens up those bones in between and gives us more space, but it'll only be temporarily better. If you stay there long enough, it's actually going to make things worse. So we're going to try to get our hips all the way to the back of the chair, so sit as tall as you can to begin with. And I'm just going to put a roll-up towel or even like a paper towel roll. Take some of them off so it's a little bit smaller, but it's got some cushion to it. And I'm going to throw that right down in the low back, right about the belt line. So what it does is it kind of helps me get into a little bit of what's called like a tilt this way, right? So kind of tilt it up, and then I can start working on my stuff this way. Not kind of here forever like this. No, I have to eventually, shift and come out of it and come up and down. But at least for as long as I can, I'm going to try to sit as tall as I can with a little bit of a roll-up towel there. Relax through here, and I got my work going this way. Number 2, where do we go?
2 would be an exercise ball.
Okay.
Some people have these at home, some people don't. We have questions on, people say, well, is this something that I should sit on like 100% of the time? And I would say, not 100% of the time, but this would be a good, break from sitting in an actual chair. So with this, with the chair, you got the back support, so you're not, so you don't have to work as many muscles through here. So with this exercise ball, you gotta stabilize it. If you kind of get slouchy with it, you're gonna fall off of it. So with this, you're engaging your core, and kind of the same thing as sitting in a chair. You have nothing to sit back against, but if we can sit up nice and tall and kind of stack our spine, get a little arch in the back, not over arch, but not sit in a slouch posture, it'll take some of that tension off the low back. And also another thing with this ball, you can actually move a little bit. So we talk about a slouch overcorrect.
Yeah.
So something that we can get those joints moving so we're not in a one lock position the whole time. Slouch overcorrect would be, kind of slouchy, but not too far. Where you kind of have to take a little tension off the back, kind of coming a little even further. So we can say overcorrect, so going past what we call neutral. Slouch.
You go as far as you can into this posterior tilt and get really slouchy. You don't want to be there. And then you don't want to be there. And then all the way tall. Now that's too far. That's going to create pain too. Just relax.
Settle back in that neutral spot.
And thanks for mentioning that. I should have mentioned that in the chair. That's where you want to find where to put that rolled up towel. Is slouch first, overcorrect, and then come off it and find your spine neutral. And that's where you keep that. That's how thick you know how to put it with the hips back to the edge of the chair. So thanks for putting that in there. I forgot to do that on the slouch overcorrect. But this one allows you more movement, but you can't relax against the back of the chair like you can on that one.
So as you can go from side to side, but the slouch overcorrect and just anything just to kind of keep those joints moving. So that's option number 2. And the third option is best for home would be we're going to pop over here.
If you can now, if you're at home, like you're gonna have to get creative. I mean, you don't have the same, unless some of you have an actual like adjustable sit-to-stand desk. That'd be awesome. But if you don't, you're gonna have to get creative. You're gonna spend some time in the chair and some time standing. And then as soon as I would get up, if I had my chair, my computer, right? So I'm sometimes here. And then when I stand, and I just kind of set up, you know, a table and a box and a laptop. So now when I'm standing, I can work. I'm going to work on getting my hips a slight. I can do a little bit of extension right off the bat to kind of get things loosened up. I can go, you know, shifting to the side. But a little bit of time in standing for a lot of people feels better with this kind of problem with the herniated disc.
Stool.
Yep. Yeah. You can even go a little bit of. Let's say it's my left leg. Might be a little high.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. So if my left leg, I don't know if we saw that other video we did with Jake, that nerve tension, you know, with the band. So if I'm too high up here straight, and I've got a lot of like, you know, nerve tension, that can be irritating. But if I prop one leg up, maybe the injured side, say, oh, that kind of feels, you know, take some weight off. I can work here for a little bit. Yeah, 10, 15 minutes, and then I'm going to change. Maybe I can shift to the other side, or I can, you know, slide my hips side to side a little bit of extension, or maybe I go back to the chair for another 15, 20 minutes. But I think what we're saying is not any one position for too long, but frequent.
For your changes,
Yeah, most people will feel better if they can change about every 30 minutes or so, 20 to 30 minutes. But if you can set it up, then all you got to do is just move your computer. Stand, do a little bit of something, walk around, take maybe 5-minute break every hour to kind of walk around a little bit.
Yeah.
Even 2 minutes, just to get up and like get some extension in the. Yeah.
Some people say, well, I can't step away from the computer to go on a walk. Well, this could be a different option for you, where you can actually change position, but still, you know, hopefully have continuous work as well. So.
I think of those three. If you can get those three things set up, where you've got a nice firm back chair, not a soft like recliner, that's too much slouchy. A ball where you can move the hips and kind of feel where you're at, and then some kind of standing setup. That should be about enough to get you through a work day with some frequent changing positions and some mini breaks here and there. Anything else? Okay.
That's it for movements.
Yeah, use those tips for those that are working at home still, that don't have a great setup, and you're wondering, like, how am I supposed to sit? How am I supposed to get through the day when I have this herniated disc problem? The other thing for the neck, you know, when you sit, it all plays into each other. If I sit slouchy, right, it's easy to bring my head forward this way, which is then going to make a neck problem and a shoulder arm problem worse. As soon as I get my hips back and I sit taller, it lines everything up nicely, and my head is more, my ears are more over my shoulders, and I'm more in line. I should have less of that shoulder and arm pain as well. Usually what that happens is too much forward or down, looking at things this way, will make that worse. So we want to try to get on the ball, wherever the hips go, the head will follow. So if I slouch forward, my head goes forward. If I slump. If I sit tall, it all lines up in a more neutral spine position or posture. So, all right, guys, that was our Friday little tip here. Thank you, Colby, our student, for filming. So, we'll see you guys.